Hello and welcome to Movie Mandates. I'm Kelly.
And I'm Andrew.
And this is the show where my brother and I force each other to watch a movie based on a monthly theme. And it is January second breakfast month. And on our previous episode, we got to watch Brother's Pick, which was his second breakfast of I should have seen this by now. And so we watched The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, and Dolly Parton is a national treasure forever. So that was very fun. And this week we got to watch my second breakfast choice, which also was one that we should have seen by now. 2001, A Space Odyssey. But before we chat about my choice, since I chose that, it is only fair that brother get to challenge me in a little segment that we call Trivial Trivia.
Okay, so I did another 10 trivia questions this time
Yes.
because
All
I,
right.
I just thought that was a lot of fun last time.
It was very
This
fun.
this one's not general trivia. This one is focusing on movies or television shows that have robots, androids, machine thing,
All
animated
right.
machine
Let's
things,
do
right?
it.
Okay.
All right.
Question one. In the Terminator,
Yep.
what is the name of the AI network that gains self-awareness and launches a nuclear attack known as Judgment Day?
Oh, that's Skynet?
Skynet. That's right.
Yeah, Skynet.
All right.
Yes. Very nice. Very nice.
In Short Circuit, what does number five do that leads him to understand the concept of death?
Disassemble? No disassembled 95?
You're on the right track. What is he doing and what does he end up doing? What physical action does he perform that has a consequence that makes him understand the concept of death?
Does he roll over like hot tar or something that's like what is does he Grr. He does something. Oh, he does. He does something.
He does. Something is what he does.
He does things and stuff. Oh, what does he? Johnny Five is a lot. What does he do?
He's,
Oh,
he's
Hannah
in,
Montana.
he's in the front yard with Ali Sheedy.
Yeah, and there's a butterfly, and he does his wing thing, and then does he crush the butterfly accidentally?
You're close.
And then, oh my God.
Reassemble. Reassemble, Stephanie. I can't.
Oh God.
It's dead forever.
Right.
Disassemble? No!
That's right. What is, oh my gosh. Okay. Was that it? The butterfly kind of, sort of. So
There
what?
is a butterfly, but he
Yeah.
uh he spots a grasshopper and it's hopping along and he
He
mimics it
jumps
and
with it.
he lands on the
Oh,
grasshopper and crushes it.
that's right. Yes, he
And
does jump with the ground.
Sheedy's like,
Oh,
"Oh, you klutz, you squished it." And he's like,
reassemble.
"Disassemble." And she's like, "Yeah, you squashed him flat." He's like, "Reassemble." Reassemble. And she's like, that
Oh, yeah,
doesn't
that's.
work that way. And that's where he starts to understand the concept of death.
Oh my gosh. I love. Oh, yes. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, 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 yes. That's right.
Recently,
I
a
totally
horror
remember.
movie came out called Megan. Megan
Oh,
is,
with the doll, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Megan is spelled M3GAN, because of course it is. But Megan is also an acronym for what Megan is. Name one of the words in the acronym Megan.
Haven't seen it. Animatronic.
Good guess, but no.
Automation.
Another good guess. No.
Enabled.
It's M3GAN.
Oh, three. It's not an E. It
Yeah, it's
really
not an
is
E, it's
three.
actually a
Oh,
three.
it is.
That's not a weird thing they did with the title.
Um,
Her
mm,
product She's actually called the Megan M3GAN, which has a an actual
Oh, so the three is a three. Okay.
yeah.
Mobile,
No,
military.
no.
I'm gonna get it though. Uh,
I'll give you
girl.
a, I'll get they do cheat a little bit. The last two letters AN are the same word. So that the last word
Oh,
starts with
automation. No, it's not because I already said automation.
yeah.
Automaton.
Nope. What do you,
Android.
there you go. The AN is Android. What do you
Is this
think
gonna be one
three's
of those
what do you think three stands for?
trace?
Yeah, it's just three. You could have just said three. It's three. She's Model 3 generative Android.
Model 3
Model
generative
3, yeah.
Android. Okay. It's gonna be like that. What was that one that you asked me? Like, how did they kill this person? And I said
Oh, it's
every.
Vigo. It's like they killed like seven ways to kill him. It's like I'm like just list ways to kill people, and you managed to get every single method of murder except the seven ways. And one of them was like drawn and quarter. It's like I'd count one of each of those. All right.
Yes. Okay, I'm good.
Uh,
That was fun. I liked
in the
it.
Terminator, the first Terminator movie, the Terminator is in a hotel room reading over a phone book or something. I forget what he's doing. And then the like the building maintenance guy knocks on the door and says, "Hey, buddy, you got a dead cat in there or what?" The Terminator, in its Terminator vision, lists a bunch of responses that it can respond with. Name one of the possible responses.
Oh God. Nope. Um, fuck off. No, I'm joking.
Pretty close. You can also if you I would also accept the what he actually responds with, but there's six responses. So it's possible responses and it goes chunk 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 chunk
Yes,
and he selects one of them. So, hey buddy, you got a dead cat in there? And he responds with
uh nope, just your wife. I don't know. I don't know. What is
what is a response that a robot what is a possible response that a robot might come up with to, hey buddy, you got a dead cat in there?
no.
No. That's one of them. So the possible responses are yes slash no. The question was, hey buddy, you got a dead cat in there or what? One of the responses is or
Or
what?
what? Okay.
Uh, third one is go away. Please
Okay.
come back later. Fuck you, asshole, which is the one
Yep,
which is
yep.
fuck you, asshole.
Okay.
And then the last one is just fuck you.
Okay. There you go. There you go. No.
Which famous movie droid said, thank the maker, this oil bath is going to feel so good?
Oh, is that C3PO?
Yes, it is. That's C-3PO in the first Star Wars movie, or the fourth one, or the one that came out in 77. Which TV show features a robot known for saying does not compute and danger, danger?
The Will Robinson one.
Yes. What's the name of the show? Interestingly, most people remember the line as danger, Will Robinson, danger.
Yes, but it's not.
I looked it up. He actually does say that once throughout all three seasons of the show,
Oh,
but mostly he just said danger, danger.
that's a Mandela
But
guy, huh?
for some reason, well, he did actually say,
Oh, so,
unlike
okay.
like "Play it again, Sam." That's not
Right.
actually the line.
Play it from
Or Luke,
play as
I am
time
your
goes
father.
by.
That's not the line.
Um,
Danger, Will Robinson,
Danger Will
danger. He's
Robinson.
actually in one of the
What
episodes.
is that show? Danger. What show does Will Robinson in?
It
Um,
was they made a movie in the later 90s, and I think they just redid did a revival television show on Netflix like in the last several years.
it's um um it's not the Jetsons. It's
Correct. It is not the Jetsons.
it's not. It is not. Danger. It's Will. What is Will Robinson? Does not compute. It's
Do you want me to start listing actors that are in the film?
yeah.
Okay. Gary Oldman is the bad guy.
Oh, I love him.
Um, Lacey
The
Chabert or
bear.
Chabert. I'm not sure how her last name's pronounced. Uh, Heather Graham, Matt LeBlanc,
This is
William
nope,
Hurt, Mimi Rogers,
nope. Moonraker.
Moonraker.
Um,
That's a James Bond film, but no.
um, Speed Racer. No. I don't have a clue.
When did this come out?
I I know Danger, Will Robinson Danger from just
1998. The show was in the 60s.
I know it just from I know the
Cultural osmosis. Lost
yes.
in Space.
Lost in Space. I would never have pulled that out of my ears. Nope. Nope, you could have spoon-fed that.
All right. Did you see the Lost in Space movie that came out in the late
Nope.
90s? You didn't see it?
Nope.
I know I saw it
Never.
in the theater. Maybe I didn't go with you.
Nope. Haven't seen it. Never watched the program. So I've never
Yeah, I've only seen
yeah.
clips of the original television show, but it's the robot with the short stubby arms that waggle like this. It's kind of like a weird glass dome antenna head kind of thing.
Does
You've
he
probably seen
was he modeled was one of the MS3TK guys modeled after him? Kind of maybe.
it. Tom Servo looks a little bit like the
Okay.
robot, who, if I'm remembering right, does not have a name. It's just the robot. It's
Okay.
like it has like some full like environmental observation robot or something like that, but it's just the robot as far as I know.
Interesting.
Okay,
Okay.
a couple
Okay.
more.
Okay. Yes, yes.
Name one of RoboCop's prime directives.
Serve and protect.
Close.
Protect and I'm
No.
sorry. I'm like, are
That's
we
just
gonna
the thing that modern day police write on their car for some reason.
That's to be funny. It's a throwback. It's a callback. No.
Yes, but
To
we mean that ironically. That's why we put it in quotes.
in
Serve and
italic.
protect.
Oh my God. It
I mean, the
prime
first
direct
directive does have the word serve in it, and the second directive
to protect.
and the first one has serve in it, and the second one has protect in it.
There you
I'll
go.
say the first one starts with the word serve, and the second one starts with the word protect.
Yeah. Um, does it have to do with the city or the like is it like the company that he works for? Like
I
is
mean,
that
classified directive 4 has to do with the company he works,
yeah, I'm like but what which is a name I'm not going to pull out of my hat.
OCP,
Oh, okay. I'm like that's I
which
know
is
that.
fine. You don't need to know OCP's name.
Are you
Directive
down with OCP? No, I'm joking.
Yeah, Directive 4 is the classified one
Of course.
that Ronnie Cox tells him about, but it's never actually listed. It's actually listed as classified. So if you described Directive 4, I'd give it to you.
Protect the innocent.
Protect the innocent. There you
Yeah!
go. Serve the public trust, protect the innocent, uphold the law.
Uphold the law. I'm like, I'm gonna get it
And
though.
then the classified fourth directive was essentially any attempt to arrest a senior officer of OCP results in shutdown.
Okay. Because
All right.
I was like, kill bad guys. Kill bad guys, don't kill
Kill
good
bad
guys.
guys. That's a
That's
pretty
what
good
it was.
directive,
In my head,
honestly.
that's all I could think of. Kill bad guys, don't kill good guys. But how would they say that nicer?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
we need to get our marketing team on this one. It's like we've got directive 1. What is it? Kill bad guys. It's like the right idea, but maybe we want to refine that to a little bit more public friendly message. We want to sell RoboCop dolls to children after all.
Yes. Okay.
Robo, all kids admire you. Do you have anything to say to the kids? Stay out of trouble.
Kill
I love
bad guys.
RoboCop. All
I
right.
love it.
Three
Okay.
more. Which comic book superhero is the Iron Giant's role model?
Superman.
Superman. There you go.
Yes.
You paused and I was like, oh,
Ooh.
seriously?
No, I was hearing him say it because he goes, because he has the little the thing under his, and he goes Superman, and I was like, I was making sure that it was
You
what
remember
he
who did the
said.
voice of the
Vin
Iron Giant?
Diesel.
Vin Diesel, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of voice actors, in Spaceballs, what is
Sorry, I'm sorry.
what is the name of the character or voice actor for the C-3PO parody droid?
That was Joan Rivers.
That's right. It's Joan Rivers who does the voice. Do you remember the character? I'll give that to you. Do you remember the character's name?
Um, Dot?
Do you remember her? That's correct. Do you remember her full name? I think they only say it once in the movie, so it's okay if you don't.
Dot Matrix.
Dot Matrix. Very good.
Yes.
Okay. So we have discussed the Terminator,
Yes.
Short Circuit,
Yes.
Megan,
Yes.
Terminator again,
Yes.
Star Wars,
Yes.
specifically C-3PO,
Correct.
the robot from Lost in Space, RoboCop, the Iron Giant, and Dot Matrix from Spaceballs. Name a robot from a movie or TV show not mentioned in any of my trivia questions.
Rosie.
From the Jetsons?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay, I'll give you that one. Sure. I figured that might be one of those where you just go, oh God, I can't think of anything. You know
And
who
she
you know who I was trying to write a question around? Um, I'm trying to remember the Bebo, I think, or B the, the
from
the mechanical
the
owl from Clash of the Titans. Are you like
Arkham.
working on your recall there?
Yes, was because I want to say it's Archimedes, but it's not. It's Bobo, right?
Yeah, it's like Bebo or Bobo or something like that. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Uh,
Because Archimedes is the sword and the stone owl.
I think it is.
And then I think it's just Bobo.
Something like that.
And is it Athena's owl?
Bubo. Bubo.
Bubo, and it's Athena's owl, right?
God,
Maggie
I haven't seen
Smith's
that movie in so
owl.
long. I don't remember who sends it to him.
I think Maggie Smith sends it to him.
Might be. Anyway, yeah.
Anyway,
So
that is
one, two,
funny.
three, four, five, six. You
All
got
right.
six? Was I
All
generous,
right.
or did you just take so damn long on a couple of them that I didn't think you got that many right? All right. Well done.
Yay me. Yay. I love it. That was fun. That was good. I like it.
And
I
that,
like
of
it.
course, was inspired by our uh, villain from 2001: A Space Odyssey, HAL
Right.
9000.
Right. HAL 9000.
All right. So the first thing I want to ask you about 2001: A Space Odyssey,
Yes.
which I think when we recorded the last episode, I wasn't sure if I'd seen this before and forgot it, or if I just was familiar with it because it's a cultural touchstone of film. I had not seen this before. I had just seen clips of the movie.
Ah, okay. So neither of us had
So
seen
this
it.
this was my first watch. Um, my first question to you is, uh, did you sit through the entire overture without fast forwarding to see if like the streaming movie was broken?
Okay, so
Because there's
yes.
a 3 minute overture and
Yes.
there's nothing on the screen. It's just pitch black.
So yes, and here's what's very interesting. Um, I will say two things about that. Three things about that. Let's talk about that.
Mm.
Did I fast forward? No. Did we push the button to see how long we were into it? Yes. Um, the thing that I find interesting is we just generally have subtitles on our TV.
Hmm.
They're there. We
Because
have
the kids are
children.
constantly making noise and I can't hear the
Yep.
people talking over the kids.
Yes, this is correct. We didn't have them today, which is another
Yeah.
wonderful reason why we are recording, and I was able to watch the movie. But it's one of those things that they are there. Um, it is very interesting. So as that was happening, not as frequent as I would expect it to have been, but about every 60 seconds, it would say music
Continue.
continues.
Okay.
And I was like, well, at least that, although I will say it missed like music swells, like, because there is some dramatic, interest in what is actually happening within that score. But as we were watching it today, the one thing that I will say about this movie in its entirety is it was 100% meant to be watched in the theater. And I could only imagine being in the theater with the lights off and the screen black, getting you in that space, going it like disorienting atmosphere, listening to that music, getting like almost as if you were like just a sensory tank. Granted, that is not how, or if you're watching it at home, your lights should be off. Again, not how we watched it. That's not how it was done. Our screen isn't that large either. Not that it's small. I'm just saying it's like, we're not immersed. So
Right.
it is definitely for that sort of experience. So as we're watching that, I was kind of thinking that that's the experience that was expected to be happening. And then randomly it was like MGM. And then it goes into the planets. And I was like, well, that was a poorly placed MGM card, my friends. Like that should have come before or just not at all. I don't know if that was a mistake because now it's on Max or like wherever it's on, like
Yeah.
because now it's like there they have like because I was like jarring because I'm like, okay, I'm trying to get into it, but like music continues, which is very funny for those with hearing impairment that would need
Mhm.
subtitles
Yeah.
not normally it to be like bear with us, it's still happening. Anyways, did you fast
I'm
forward then?
I'm trying to think of a film with an overture that doesn't have something to look at, like at least a title card or some art or just wavy colors or something like that. It's the only one I've ever seen pitch black. And I actually knew what the opening shot of the movie was. The camera uh pans up past the moon and looks at
Sun and Earth
the
and
Earth eclipsing the sun behind it. So I knew it
yeah.
started out in pitch black and it, raised up and got light. And so after a minute, I'm like, I better scrub through this and make sure it's just an overture. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, after a minute, I was like, boy, this opening shot takes its time, doesn't it?
Yeah. um
But yeah,
I
I imagine Kubrick probably was not particularly happy with the idea of people renting this movie in the 80s on VHS and watching it on like a 19-inch mononaural television. He's like, oh
yeah.
my God, that's gonna suck.
It- right. Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. It's
this, what's funny is I think your average home theater setup, widescreen, 60-inch, high definition display, that's not terribly uncommon in people's living rooms today. And while
right.
it's not the ideal for the film, I think it accommodates a film like this a lot better than it would have when it hit video in probably the 80s or so.
Right. Insane, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I also,
Of course, a lot of people today probably be like, watching it vertically on their phone. What are you doing? It's like, this
I
is
can't,
boring.
I can't even, I can't even. Well, yeah, it's also, I was reading somewhere that in this 2.5 hour movie, that there's only like 44 minutes of dialogue. And I'm like, yeah, no, that seems about right, in
Well, I
fact.
mean, it's 2.5 hours.
Yep.
The first half an hour has no dialogue, and the 25 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. There's grunts and stuff from the early uh I guess it's not Homo sapien yet, but maybe whatever species of Homo that is. The genus Homo peoples, and some chimpanzee who had adopted some nearby chimpanzee children. So that was nice of them.
Ah, getting along, getting along.
Getting along, getting along. So that's 25 minutes. And then the last 20 minutes or so of the movie has no dialogue. So
But there's a lot
that's
of in
nearly an hour.
between.
Yeah, so yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably accurate. It's almost an hour of the film that, of course, there's a lot of there are some I would really count it's like okay, after the opening sequence and before the ending sequence, that's all. While there are some stretches where our two astronaut peoples are just poking around at stuff, um, or where they're piloting, their all you hear is like, my God,
There's a lot
get
of
this guy in
deep
a
breathing.
trailer. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of deep breathing going on.
Here's a question I want to ask you.
Excellent. Ask.
What do you think of the movie now? And how do you imagine you would have reacted to this movie if you saw it in the theater back in 67, 68, whenever the hell it came out?
So I'm absurdly grateful to have waited.
68.
68. Yeah. So I'm very happy to have waited to see this movie, I will say. Um
As opposed to seeing it when you were like a teenager or something?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. I think I'm pretty sure that teenage Kelly would have loved this movie, as adult Kelly does. Um, but I think that she would have for wrong reasons, probably because she just thought it would be cool to like it. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I
Um,
love this movie. You wouldn't understand it.
yeah, basically, if basically that would probably be the reason. I'm sure that there are some films, if I look back at my tastes of the time, that I'm like, girl, you had no idea what that was
Oh,
about. And
you're
yeah, and I'm sure that if I look
Bobby
back at them, like
hipster.
maybe I like them anyways, but like just for completely different reasons, or like, oh, you totally didn't understand what that was, or whatever. Um, so I'll go with watching it now. I find it fascinating to know because I am such a Kubrick fan, and
Mhm.
I am. This
Is this your
reminded me.
the last Kubrick film you needed to see, or are you still?
No, Doctor Strangelove.
Oh, I've
I
actually seen Strangelove.
I need to see Strangelove.
That's is that the last one?
I believe him. I think it is.
Ah, all right.
So what I find, there's a few things I find fascinating having waited is when we watched Pi, because I really like Darren Aronofsky.
Hmm.
And when we watched Pi, knowing that that was his first film, it was so interesting watching that like last and knowing that where he
Where
went
it
with
goes from
all
there.
of those because that was his like I have all of these ideas and
How
like
how
watching
early
to
in
that
Kubrick's filmography is Space Odyssey?
this I don't know let's take a look, Stanley, where are you in
And
your movie uh order? I want filmography. Let's go in. Uh, Lolita was, well, he does have a lot before that. Um, because Strangelove was before it, and yeah, because Spartacus, Lolita, Strangelove, then
ooh, forgot
2001.
about that one.
So then A Clockwork Orange and Shining, Full Metal Jacket, Eyes Wide Shut. So really, this was late in his stuff, but but it was still just. He was the designer of special photographic effects. But it was just so wonderful watching it because so many other movies have taken from it. Movies that like I didn't realize. had. You know, like Interstellar, like all you wait until the very end of this movie, and then I'm like, the entire plot of Interstellar is like the last 25 minutes of this one movie. I'm like, okay.
I imagine I haven't seen Interstellar, but Nolan be damned, I'm pretty sure that the ending, divisive though it may be, probably made less people go, I need mushrooms.
Okay, fair, true. But like, it was very interesting to just watch a movie, kind of like Godfather.
Okay.
I've watched all these movies, and then you watch Godfather, and you realize all of those movies were completely influenced
Oh, I see
by
what you,
this.
yeah, okay. Yeah. From that perspective, it is really interesting to see where
So where
tropes and
he went and where
influences
everyone
and
else went,
yeah.
and what, like, it's just so interesting to watch. Like, this had an influence on his trajectory and the trajectory of so because many just other little branches and limbs of
I mean,
other people's
hell,
work, and it's insane.
even the music cues that are used in this movie are still used as shorthand today.
Yes, yes, it's
Da, 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 da,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
it's
That's
just
I know that music is from some ballet. Do you know which one that's from? I forgot to look at the lyrics.
it's the Spoke Zarathustra is
Okay.
the or from Strauss,
What about the waltz one? Da da da
the Blue
da.
Danube.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm savvy enough to recognize
yeah,
it sometimes, but I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
I'm not pulling that unless it's
yeah,
like the magic flute or something really
yeah,
obvious or Nutcracker. I'm probably not.
yeah, right. Um, but yeah, so it's and then I also, because I'm dumb, had no idea that this came right before. I didn't realize this was 68. I didn't realize uh that it was that long ago for some asinine reason. I had no idea. So I'm watching it going, uh, no wonder
They,
they thought he
they
faked
like
the
the
moon
60s
landing.
aesthetic, don't they? Gosh.
I was like, no wonder they thought he faked the moon landing. When was this? 68? Oh, well, no wonder they thought he faked the moon landing. Because it was the very next year. They're like, well, dude, didn't he just do this? He just did. So, um, so it was fascinating to watch just him trying all these new things. And I can't imagine what people in theaters must have thought at that time watching this. I can't
Yeah, I
even
mean, today we look
fathom.
at the major effect shot, which is that one room that's clearly a spinning wheel,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I mean, in if I had watched this in theater 68, I'd be like, how in the hell are they doing that? Nowadays, I'm looking at them like, oh my God, they must have strapped that guy upside down. Oh, that must suck. You
Yeah.
know?
But like I
Um,
love her little sticky booties
her
that
little
like
Velcro boots, yeah.
and how she's walking. I'm like, what great like just
I
how cute is
love,
that?
one of my favorite environmental details in this film is all the things that have the paragraphs of instructions on how to use, like the phone booth
The
and the zero
toilet.
G toilet. And there's just a bunch of stuff in the film that if you look closely, there's user instructions for all of it, which I think
Yeah.
is hilarious.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I really wanted
There's
to stop and pause and see if I could read the zero gravity toilet instructions, but
there it was long. It was very long.
yeah,
I actually was
there's like 10 steps, which makes it even funnier.
I was thinking about that.
It's like I don't if your toilet requires an itemized list of 10 steps to use properly, you might want to rethink how user friendly this is.
Not just that, but like if I had to go already, like
It's like,
we
oh God, I can't read fast enough.
we might already have a problem.
Oh,
Put
I
that
hope
on
rules
the
7 through 10 aren't that important.
yeah, right. I there you go. But yeah, it was
I
so
also
yeah.
I also just the kind of airport terminal set, which
Yes.
is clearly part of that big wheel thing. So
Yeah.
they built the set so that it's got kind of a curved floor.
Yeah.
Um, so as in this is just part of the inside of that
Yeah.
wheel. But Kubrick also really smartly positions the camera in, tilts the camera to make it more extreme
The
and
man
also
knows
keep
his
keep like
angles.
the liquor
He's
and the glasses level.
insane.
Yeah.
He's so smart with positioning, with camera positioning. Like, I can't handle how good he is with it.
Mhm.
Like when Floyd Merriweather, no, it's not. But when Moneypenny, what the
Very
heck is
young
his?
Floyd Merriweather.
No, when the scientist guy comes to give them the debriefing. I can't remember his last
Yeah,
name.
don't worry. I
Doesn't matter.
know the names.
When he
Dave
comes
is
to
the
give,
only one I remember. Helen Dave.
yeah, not Dave, the not Dave one,
Not Dave.
the one who calls his daughter the most. I know she's 4, but
Was there no one else? You can feel the person off camera feeding her lines and trying to get her to. What I thought was funny, which is a mistake, but it's also okay, is the video conferencing phone. So he's in a phone booth, and in the 60s, this would have been amazing. And like we're doing exactly that right now.
right, yes,
Um,
absolutely,
but the
absolutely.
funny thing is this 4-year-old girl, however old she is, she actually moves slightly and the camera tracks her, which it probably shouldn't. Like you
No,
imagine that this is a fixed camera, but on the other hand, I mean they can travel to Jupiter, so maybe the camera tracks. If you move out of frame, it'll follow
yeah.
around a little bit. But yeah, and she was also playing with the keypad and kept pushing buttons on it. It's like she's gonna accidentally hang up that call.
Oh God,
It was
I'm
pretty
like, I
funny.
know you're 4, but you're a terrible actress.
Yeah, I mean, this is why your daddy is out in space and not home for your birthday party because you're just really annoying to talk to.
Your daddy doesn't love you. First thing he says is like, "Who else is in the house? Anybody but you. Put anybody else on."
Yeah, mom apparently left her alone.
Jesus.
Hire a sitter? I've tried. She's just terrible.
The sitter's in the bathroom, like, please no, please no.
Why is the sitter naked in the tub rocking herself back and forth again? Third one this week.
Oh my God, it's terrible. Um, that dude. So when he's doing the debriefing, they have the camera at his side of the table and it's behind him and the other head honchos. And then he walks all the way around the table and then he's so far away from the camera and he's backlit. So he's just a shadow. And it's just, but it's brilliant because it's like, well, that's what those guys at the head of the table, the most important
I want
people,
to
that's
try
their
sitting in those
view.
chairs. Those actually look pretty comfy. These big blue
Yeah.
bucket chairs. I'm like,
They
those
look
look
good for
really
your
nice,
back. They look
actually.
good for your back. But
Yeah.
like, it's just, Stanley Kubrick,
You know what I was kind of
where he
surprised
puts
at?
his camera, man, the man was a genius.
You
Please
know what
continue.
actually kind of surprised me? Because especially after watching 60s sci-fi schlock like Moon Zero Two, no
Moons.
02, no extreme mini skirts. All the women were
No.
wearing pants. I was like,
And big old bubble heads so that their
and
hair
the
didn't fall
yeah,
around.
I loved some of the hats in this. They were pretty good. Um,
Yeah. Um,
yeah. To answer the question I had asked you, what did I think of it now compared to how I think I would have enjoyed it if I'd watched it in the theaters in '68?
yes.
Um, I'm of two minds about this movie. I I like it. I admire it. I may even love it, but I don't enjoy it.
I never need to see it again.
Yeah, I don't need to watch it again. It is this that comparatively, had I seen, I think I would have been enamored of this movie had I seen it in like '68 because it really presented something that you'd never really
Ne
seen before, particularly some of the way they pulled off a lot of these anti-gravity
yeah,
effect stuff. Um,
absolutely.
like even something as simple as now, not all of it works. Not all of the slow walking acting, as in low gravity, is playing. Some of the actors seem to just kind of give up on that after a while. Um, But there's some real simple stuff like when the pen is float like the guy is obviously just kind of holding his
Yeah.
arms up like he's floating, which is fine. But there's also the pen that's floating around, which at first I thought was probably like on monofilament wire, but the way she plucks it out of the air, I think they might have like slathered some sticky stuff and put it on like a very clear piece of plexi or glass in front of the camera. And I'm like, that is so simple but genius because she kind of plucks it off of something rather than just grabbing it out of the air. So I'm
Yeah.
like that's some great stuff right there.
Yeah.
Um, I think I would have been just bowled over by this movie if I had seen it back in '68. Now it's more I really appreciate because I have enough of a film history education, self-educated, just watching a bunch of crap
Well, yeah.
to help put this film in its proper context.
Yeah.
So it's more I can get a good idea of how I would have felt, I think, seeing this in the '60s. I can't
Yeah.
really feel that now, but I can kind of imagine it or empathize with how that might have gone. I do, however, think that as much as I love about so much of this movie, it's mostly from a filmmaking perspective
Oh,
because there's almost
yeah.
nothing else there. This, as a film, this really should have been like a 22-minute um, Tales from the Crypt-esque sci-fi episode. Cut
Yeah.
everything. It should have been just the main bit of the movie that actually has story. Because there's a premise, there's a bit that's set up. It's like, okay, we've got our astronauts. We've got three people in cryosleep. We're going somewhere on a mission. We've got a AI computer. It's the bestest AI ever, and it never makes a mistake.
Right.
But some people are like, huh, that AI has a personality. It seems kind of prideful to me. Do we think that's safe? I'm like, oh, okay. We set something up.
Right.
And so we'll just speed run what happens real quick. The infallible AI says, "Hey, the antenna is going to break in 3 days. Go fix it." So they go out and they swap out the module, bring it back, and they can't find a fault with the module. And the AI goes, well, yeah, I'd go ahead and put it back. I guarantee it'll fail in 3 days. Just you watch." And they're talking with Houston or whoever, and they're saying, you know, we have another HAL 9000 down here, and it says that one's full of shit. So, and so Hal goes on a murder spree because it's way too prideful and it can't handle making a mistake. And cool, that's great for a 22-minute Tales from the Crypt episode, right? Otherwise, it's just way too long and ponderous. It doesn't really tie together with anything very well. I have a sense that I'm getting a very '60s, you're not supposed to understand it, man. You're supposed to feel it, man, kind of vibe, particularly with the ending, which I have no idea what the hell's going on there.
So, did you see? So, here's the thing.
It it it
This
it, it
sleeve
feels
has
like
lost its
self-indulgent
elastic.
wank.
It's freaking me out.
Not that it's not fun to look at, but I'm not even sure what they're going for here.
Did you see Tree of Life from Terrence Malick?
No,
Okay. First off, great film. I went
I
when
bet
I
it's
saw
very Terrence Malick though.
oh, it is
I
the
bet you'd
Terrence
identify it
Malick.
as Terrence Malick without knowing it's Terrence Malick.
You very well would, in fact. I could probably play you 10 minutes of it and you'd be like, name that
Yeah.
director. Um, it is a very excellent film. It's one that I saw in the theater
Hmm.
that year. And boy oh boy, did the people in the theater hate it. Um it was up for an Oscar that year, and it was a packed theater because it was the Oscar showcase, something that I haven't gone to in years. God damn it.
Oh, was it where they marathon the?
Yeah, so it was the Oscar.
Now they
So it
do
was
10 movies, so
yeah, so that's why. But anyways, so the point is, Tree of Life, fantastic. This movie, I do believe that Tree of Life was very inspired. Again, another one that I believe was inspired by this film. Uh, because I do see the connection of all of these branches, if you will. I don't disagree that you could take the middle part and have it stand alone. But I do believe, and again, this is just my interpretation and me throwing my artsy fartsy flair into things because that's how I do. I like to artsy fartsy things up. Um,
Oh, I'm not saying there's no link. I mean, they make it really clear with the bone that the early man used to bludgeon shit,
right, to bludgeon and yeah, yeah.
match cuts into modern day technology. I'm like, yeah, okay, I get that. It's not like there's no
Right.
link, to be
Right,
clear.
right, 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 right. But I mean, I agree that like the Hal part standing alone is a very horror Tales from the Crypt-esque thing.
Mhm.
I totally agree with that. And you could extricate that and make that a thing. But I think it's very interesting to show like, where cops let's try that again. It's talking about the dawn of man. And I thought it was a very funny thing and an interesting thing. When what is it, a jaguar or a lion or whatever that comes out and eats them or
You think they like
takes one.
declawed that poor kitty?
God help me. I I don't want to look into
Yeah,
that part
yeah.
of it because it was 68. That's the like there are a few parts
It's
that I'm
really
like,
cool to see tapirs, though. I was like, I
I was
would
like,
not,
yeah,
would not an animal I would expect to see. It's like, let's get some tapirs in here.
do that. Let's do
Okay.
that. Um, but during the scene where you could hear it like growling or like kind of hunting and the homo underlines were you know fearing it because as of that point they were not yet the top of the food chain. uh I I was thinking to myself, oh, this is very interesting
The way these
because
things
I
act are probably not even the homogeneous. It'd probably be,
it's not, and
I'm
I know.
it's probably something like that looks like it would be way back more in like the
Yes, yes.
what's that other something afarensis? No,
It's been a minute since I've been to any of
um
those correct museums.
Australopithecus, I think is what I'm trying to think of.
I will
Anyway,
agree with you because I don't know
Australopithecus.
any better.
Yeah, I don't,
Um,
not my field of study, but these looked a little bit earlier than what my impression of the genus Homo is. But
yes.
anyway,
But these dudes are not at the top of the food chain. And so
nope.
they're cowering because they're hiding from, a predator. And it was a very interesting moment. It was very early on. And the one thing I will say again, because I mean, I hadn't seen the movie until now. Um, but I, like you did, like I knew ish. I mean, I knew there was a Star Child coming and I knew of Hal. So these were things that
Oh.
I knew. I knew there was a Hal and I knew there was a Star Child. Did I know what
And
Star
the
Child?
black monolith thing.
And I knew there's a monolith.
Okay.
So like did I know what they were or why they were? No. Did I know Hal was gonna say I can't do that, Dave? Yes.
Mhm.
Did I know like why I didn't know anything about Jupiter or anything that like I didn't know the story about it, but like so thinking to myself when that happened in that one scene, and again, this is like 15 minutes in the movie, I was like, it's a very interesting thing about how in uh what's the word then? Evolution, thank you. That we will there's always going to be something above us. And somehow we're always going to create that something above us. And it comes with enlightenment. And I think that that's kind of like the monolith thing is like, you know, the representation, and at least in my head, like and I mean I can take it down so many different routes. There's like a lot of different routes that I take this down in like the monolith, speaking of enlightenment, and like once you know something, it kind of makes you dangerous. And so it just brings me right back to, what was that movie that we were watching? Was it Pi? That ignorance is bliss that when we were talking about it, or was it Primer? Prime, not Primer, Prime.
No,
Primer?
Primer, the
Primer.
kind of a time travel loop,
Yeah.
right?
What movie? I think maybe it was Pi that I was saying that like ignorance is bliss. That like that was the
Don't learn
anyway.
things, you'll just use that to hurt things.
Yeah, that's the thing. Or that there's always like, they made the HAL 9000, and it's like you will always like, because of, we're always going to be the creation of our own demise. That's par for the course for us. But anyways, um uh yeah, it was just a very interesting, like, it was just a very interesting thing, that one moment with the jaguar, lion. It wasn't a lion,
It
tigress,
wasn't a
whatever it
lion,
was.
it's probably a jaguar of some.
Yeah, howling. And I was just like, it's such an interesting thing, like to have the predator there, because it's like,
And they're all cowering under a
and they're
rock.
all just
Oh
cowering
man,
because
there's things out there that can eat us.
I'm like,
And then one of
I'm
them
like,
gets pissed off and is like, "Shut the hell up,
and
trying to
I'm thinking to
sleep."
myself, it's not always the predator that you think it is. It's sometimes the predator, like, because it's someone that looks like them that decides to walk upright and hit them with a damn bone. Like,
And you
it's
know
just,
they're gonna come back later with big rocks or
and
something.
they're gonna come. It's just such, it's
Yep.
just, it was just a very interesting. Like, I think that the first that the Dawn of Man part was just so interesting, and there's so
Yeah.
much just from that part itself that you can like
Yeah,
each segment was so, and
it's true
especially
enough.
at
Yeah.
the end with the time like being a construct, and
Hmm.
like with it being like him watching himself go through all the different things. And if you think about it, like all those noises, like the mess hall noises and stuff, these were all sounds that you heard throughout the movie that you didn't realize you were hearing throughout the movie, like the clanking of the glasses and stuff. And you're like, was he just watching himself like the whole time too? Like all like time, you know, it's all like just like the monolith. Like the monolith was there the whole time, which means he's like everyone's, ah, which I don't know how I feel about that, because it's something
You
that
should
hurts my
you
head.
should watch it again on mushrooms.
That's the thing, is like, and that's the thing also, is like there are things that you can understand until you try to even vocalize them. It's like I fully get it. Like I fully am like, yes, like it, like the Wolf House. Like
Hmm.
I totally had this moment, like, and like when I was watching it, and Jeremy came in when I was watching that movie, and I was like, I paused it and I told him, I'm like, I this and I explained it to him, and I guarantee that all the words that I have access to, and I couldn't possibly explain, even as I was listening to them roll out of my mouth, as I'm doing right now, like I'm completely
I think
sober,
I
everything's
understand it
fine.
until I try to articulate it, then I'm
And
not
that's the thing,
sure.
is like I know what I want to say. I am
Hmm.
completely of sound mind, and yet it's coming out, and I'm like, none of this is even close to what I mean, and yet it's so clear to me. And I think that that's why movies work in how they do, is because he's like, I am just putting a moving picture up here, and just it's just like, that's why art works, is because it's not saying anything. It's just splashed across the screen or a canvas, or it's putting a lot of different things at once for him to be like, figure it out because that's my therapy
Yeah.
and that's
Not
how
saying
I'm,
anything. It's up to you to interpret it.
and it's like, but it's just very fascinating. And then question,
Hmm.
because Jeremy asked me this the moment it was over. And this is really pissing me off. This is really pissing me off, this sleeve.
Your
Like, do you
sleeve?
see this? Do you
Yeah.
see this? So
Yes.
like this is
Hmm.
supposed to be like this,
Oh, it's lost its elastic.
elastic.
Yeah.
No, I don't
There- There's
understand.
there's no more bouncing, it's bungee.
And it's like freaking me out because it's cold, so there's like a draft.
The draft is going up my sleeve and into my armpit and it's cold.
It's very cold. So
Oh
at
yeah.
the Star Child. So
Yeah.
at the end of the movie, there is this giant star child. Would you describe the star child as giant, or would you describe star child as just regular baby, but the perspective, because he's in the foreground, just makes it look as if it is a giant baby because he's in foreground, or do you think it's giant baby?
I think I think it was just regular sized baby. When I was watching it, I didn't get a sense that it was any larger than one would expect a baby to be. Although thinking about it, there is no frame of reference that I
Yeah,
recall. So it could be a tiny baby, an average sized baby, or a giant baby. There's really no way to tell. I didn't get any sense that it was any smaller or larger than a baby would be. So I didn't actually think of that, but it is put right up into the camera. So the model, whatever thing that they built for that effect is probably larger than it would be normally just to get the detail so it could
right,
they could zoom in on it and not look really weird,
right.
any more weird than it already looks.
He's like, it's
Yeah.
like a cherubic baby. It's like, hey, I'm just gonna sit here with my
Gonna
hands so
watch over the stuff
delicately
kind of
placed.
stuck up here now.
Yeah. But like it was quite interesting watching space get impregnated though. Like that was an interesting moment. Like I really interpreted some of that. Did you?
No, but now that you say that, I'm like, huh, it's an interesting way to view that.
There was definitely some absolute moments that I'm like, okay, there's an embryo. Okay, there's definite like there was definite to me. I'm like that. Okay, now we are implanting the seed in the okay, now we're gestating. This is like active. I was like that is
Yeah, okay,
impregnating space.
did that, I'm actually coming up with some specific images from that sequence. I'm like, huh, she ain't just whistling Dixie. Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually didn't think about that, but now that I'm thinking back on it, uh, yeah, there is definitely some imagery there that could easily be interpreted that way. Very, very valid read, I'd say.
Yeah. Anyways, the only reason I ask about Star Baby is because
Particularly when you end up with a baby. You
yeah.
know?
Yeah. Um
Yeah, humankind. Hey, what was that Jupiter mission all about? We're gonna knock up space. Oh, the hubris of man.
we're
Screw
gonna
space. Yes.
exactly. You said it. Um, because yeah, Jeremy's in camp, regular size baby, and I was in camp, big old
Giant
baby.
baby.
But
Big old baby. Space baby. Man, what yeah, you're aware of who um oh God, it's not gonna work if I can't remember the name.
oh no.
Who is the Marvel villain, Fantastic Four villain, the giant planet-eating dude? I'm
Juggernaut.
Jesus, that is going to drive me nuts. Give me just a second here.
That is okay.
Galactus. You've heard of
Yes.
Galactus?
Yes.
Gigantic. dude in purple armor who runs around eating planets, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Galactus, but giant star baby. That's even
Yes.
more horrifying.
There you go.
Galactus is kind of goofy looking because you got the big helmet and it's purple. If giant star baby started floating at Earth, I was like, nom, nom, started making sucking noises in your general direction, be like, oh my God, that's terrifying.
That's where the Teletubbies, see, even Teletubbies
Oh,
was
the
inspired
sun baby.
was inspired by this movie with
Star baby,
this.
we've got a sun baby, and it's
We
even
got a
more
sun
horrifying.
equally as scary.
So, final thoughts
Yes.
would be I'm glad I saw it. I like a lot
Yes.
about it. I don't need to see it again. And it's a
No.
difficult movie to recommend. It's one I could wholeheartedly recommend to many people
Spe-
and would definitely steer others away from. I'd be like, some people I'd be like, yes, watch this. You'll get a lot out of it, even if overall you don't enjoy this film. And there are other people I know who I'd be like, this will bore the shit out of you. Don't even bother.
it's a specific group of people. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
specific people who I think, especially based on length. Oh, oh,
It is two and
oh,
a half
what
hours.
was that?
Someone fell over or something, I guess. I don't know.
No. Okay. Yeah, it is, but I'm very happy that I have finally watched it. Um, I'm super impressed. Uh, every time I watch one of his movies, I just get more and more thrilled with yeah, I get more
Oh,
and more thrilled with him.
one thing I want to point out, the obelisk,
Monolith.
monolith, the monolith theme, that discordant choral theme that kind of drones,
Yeah, the
right?
Gregorian type of thing. I don't think it is Gregorian, but I
Kind of.
don't remember what it
That
is.
theme there reminds me kind of sometimes Nolan will do that shit in his movies, that kind of really thing that's unpleasant to listen to, but it's unpleasant on purpose. It's supposed to be unsettling, and it definitely does that. I'm thinking about Joker's theme in Dark Knight, right? That high
Yeah,
pitched whiny shit.
yeah,
It kind of reminded me of that. There's this atonal choral thing that it's like I'm like, oh,
yeah.
at first I was like, oh, that's so off-putting and unsettling. That's perfect for this. And after a couple of minutes, I was like, okay, you can stop now. I just don't like listening
Olivia
to it.
hated it. She was laying on my lap for the movie,
Oh, Olivia hated it.
and every time it came up, she would like raise her head and be like, huh, and I'm like, it's okay, it'll end soon. And I'm like, it'll end soon,
Dude,
right?
Kubrick,
Right?
come on. How long does
It
this
will end
take?
soon, right? But she hated it, and like,
7 or 8 minutes is soon, right?
yeah, but no, she definitely, because she's just zonked out getting pets, and then that like, and she'd be like, "What the hell is that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what the hell is that?" But yeah, no, I'm with you. I do enjoy though when I can recommend films like this to people when I find the right person that you're like, yeah,
Ooh, you would like this, right?
you are the one. Found you. So there
Yep.
you go.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, so thus ends our second breakfast when we get to have our January redemptions of the movies that we just missed the mark on over over the last year. So there we go. Yay, January.
Yay.
And then movie mandates does continue though, and it continues with February because that's how calendars work. Um, with Best Buds movies, which is the best kind of love. So brother, Best Buds, what is your mandated movie for buddies?
There's a genre of film I would say probably hit its prime in the 80s, and that is the buddy cop movie. And it was an excuse to pair two charismatic, uh, funny actors together and watch them play off each other. Thinking Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy in the 48 Hours movies, or Danny Glover and Mel Gibson in the Lethal Weapon movies. So
Yes.
we're gonna watch one of those, and we're gonna watch the best buds of Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines in Running Scared?
Ooh, I don't know
Because when you
it.
think of action cop, you think of Billy Crystal.
Yes.
But on the other hand, when you think of romantic lead, you think of Billy Crystal. And you'd be like, no, you don't. It's like, have you seen Harry Met Sally?
Hold
It
on.
works.
I
Who knew?
love
It actually
it.
works. So
I love it. Okay, great.
Running Scared. The Gregory Hines, Billy Crystal, 1986 or somewhere around there. There was they made another movie called Running Scared in the 2000s somewhere. It has nothing to do with this, not even a remake. Just I think Paul Walker's in it, if I'm not mistaken. But just to make sure we're watching that one.
All right. Make sure the cast matches. So if you'd like to watch, check out Running Scared with the correct cast, Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines, and check out the description to see where it is currently streaming or where it could be available to rent. Excellent. And so until then, you can watch Movie Mandates on YouTube and you can listen to it in podcast form on iTunes. And if you enjoy the show and you want to tell your friends about us and you want to reach a wider audience, then engagement is the key for doing so. So if you are watching on YouTube, you're going to want to like and you want to subscribe and you want to comment. And if you're listening on iTunes, we'd like it if you rated and reviewed. So thanks so much. And with that, I'm still Kelly. And you can follow the Instagram at PomentoLivia with 1 O.
And I'm Andrew. You can follow me at Blue Sky at Andrew Eisen.
Hey,
I
and
moved.
what'd you just say?
I moved.
I would think that you'd be off Twitter. That
Yeah.
is exactly what I would have expected
I
at this
moved a
moment.
while ago, but these we record these in advance, so
Yeah. Okay.
by the time you get this message, I've been on Blue Sky for a while. Hopefully, it doesn't like explode or something.
Yeah. Okay. I will have to follow up with you about that soon because I was expecting that happening. We hope you've all enjoyed this episode of Movie Mandates, and we are gonna come back soon with another mandated movie. Bye, everyone.
Bye.